Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. Service, and you will enjoy your ownership. Now, keep in mind, these cars were considered luxury vehicles 20, 30 years ago, and much of what was put into them is still being added to new vehicles today. These cars are very comfortable. They're great road cars. They're economical as far as gas mileage, and if you can service them yourself, they're economical in maintenance as well. Now, if you're not handy and you don't want to fix things yourself, they can be expensive. They are luxury cars and they're over 20 years old. However, if you have them serviced and maintained, they will give you many years of enjoyable service. Let me go ahead and get started to let you know a few things that you should be aware of and you're new to you Volvo. As with any vehicle that has a combustion engine, which means you have to stop at a gas station and fuel it up, there's a couple things that you must keep in mind to safeguard the vehicle. Number one, check the oil on a regular basis. Weekly is good, no less than monthly. Number two, make sure you maintain a good coolant level in the car. If it's leaking oil or burning oil, or if it's leaking coolant, you need to keep that stuff topped off to protect the engine of the car. Let me show you how that's done. You open the door, you look down here, there's a red handle. You pull this handle, hold that for 3 to 5 seconds, let it go. On these F70s, sometimes it's tricky opening the hood. Both hood latches may not release. At any rate, you put your hand under here, lift up on the hood. If both corners don't raise up, you may need to go in and pull the handle again. Stick your hand under the handle on this vehicle, pull this little lever to you, and lift the hood up. That little lever right there. Once you see the engine compartment, you check your oil here. You verify your coolant level is good there. You should be good to go. Engine oil, coolant. You want to make sure your coolant is up to this line maximum, and you want to make sure your engine oil on the dipstick is in range. There's a video linked in the comments below to tell you how to check your oil level properly. Again, these vehicles are over 20 years old. They may use oil and consume oil just like new vehicles do. You want to check your oil when you first get the vehicle once a week. If it drops below the minimum line, add a quart. Keep track of how much oil you're adding, whether it's once a week or once a month. Keep that oil filled up to the proper level, and the engine, like I said, should last up to 500,000 miles. Coolant is something that a vehicle should not use. If you're finding yourself adding coolant, that means that there's a leak in the system somewhere, and you should have that leak tracked down and fixed as soon as possible. Most of these vehicles that I find in salvage yards are there because they were losing coolant, they didn't add enough, keep it full, the engine ran low on coolant, blew the engine, and then the owners of the vehicle was not willing to invest the money into repairing the engine, so they sent it to the salvage yard. Let me tell you something. It's cheaper to keep coolant and oil in the vehicle than it is to replace a vehicle. Hands down. So keep in mind, keep coolant in it, keep oil in it. And this doesn't only apply to Volvos. This applies to any used vehicle that you get. One thing that a lot of people don't know about these Volvos is many of them are turbocharged, which means they have a turbocharger model. If the vehicle that you have has a pipe that comes up from here and over the engine or down over that way, it has a turbocharger. Turbochargers are a lot more fun to drive. They have better acceleration pickup on and off the highway. However, that is a service point that you need to be aware of. You may find a video linked in the comments below that explains a little bit about how a turbo works, what can go wrong with them. Nonetheless, the turbochargers in these cars normally last between 200 and 300,000 miles. If the car is running fine, it's got good pickup, don't worry about the turbocharger so much, but do be aware that that is a service point with the turbocharger, and more importantly, the hoses that connect through the turbocharger. You have these rubber hoses here that have to stay firm. They shouldn't be soft and mushy, and you have a hose that'll go there. This one has a different turbocharged piping system on them than most of them. This is what I call an upgraded one. Nonetheless, if you have one, piping should be in good shape and vacuum lines should be in good shape. Just keep that in mind. If it's turbo, you need to be aware that a car has a turbo and you can get it serviced whenever need be. As with any used car, you should check the serviceability of the car on a monthly basis. I have a video linked in the comments below, tell you what to check each and every month on your used car. This car has what's called a PCV system, positive crankcase ventilation system. Most vehicles have them. This one is specially designed to circulate the blow-by of the engine back through the intake system, which means that it emits less emissions into the environment. However, if that system is not properly serviced, it can cause the vehicle to smoke out of the tailpipe. Now, Volvo recommends that you do not let these cars sit idle. You don't start them up and let them sit 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes just idling without driving them. You start the car, you drive it. When you're done driving and you're going to sit for a few minutes, shut the car off. When you're ready to go, start the car up, drive it off. Sometimes, because of the design of the engine, the PCV system, and what's known as valve stem seals, this car may start to smoke. I've had it happen to me. I'm sitting in a drive-through, the car is sitting at a particular angle, I'm waiting my turn in line, then all of a sudden smoke starts billowing out of the tailpipe. That, unfortunately, is a characteristic of the way the car is designed. It's considered normal. Don't let that freak you out. However, if you find yourself sitting and not driving around, shut the car off and you'll prevent that from happening. Again, it's not unusual to see smoke pouring out of the tailpipe if you're not driving the car around. That's unfortunately a character of the car, not necessarily anything wrong. These vehicles, mainly the engine, was designed and helped by a company called Porsche. They are performance engines. If you look in the owner's manual, the owner manual recommends that you use premium fuel in the car. Can the car run on 87 octane? Absolutely. Can the car run on 89 octane? Absolutely. But the car is designed to run more efficiently on 91 plus octane. My experiments show that when I use 91 plus octane, I actually get a little bit better gas mileage, which offsets the cost of premium fuel. The premium fuel, in my belief, is better for the engine, prevents engine knock, extends the life of your tune-up items in the car. You'll be better off economically if you use 91 plus octane. However, the car will run fine on normal gas. So do what you want. I run 91 octane in all of my Volvos. Now we want to cover a couple of features of the vehicle. Number one thing you should know is most of these vehicles have power seats and they have a memory feature for different drivers. You can look at the video linked in the comments below to learn how to adjust those seats and set the memories. Number two, the steering wheel tilts and telescopes. This is a release handle here. Pull that down. You could pull the steering wheel in and out, and you could pull the steering wheel up and down. Once you get it where it's comfortable for you, you pull this up to lock it back in place. Be careful that you do not leave that handle down. If you leave that handle down and you get out of the car, you're likely to break this plastic handle off with your knee. If you have one that's already broken, that can be replaced. Very inexpensive part, a little bit on the labor, it can be fixed. So that is a nice feature with the car. One thing I want to do is go over some of the features of the car, which are easy to recognize. One of the best features is this car has warning lights in them to help you see when things are going wrong. What you want to do when you get in the car, you put the key in it, you get your little trinkets out of the way, and you turn the ignition to run, which is 2 positions, but you don't start it. You see the 2 position? When you turn it there, all of these warning lights should light up in the car. If you're ever driving and you see a red light means stop the car, deal with it. If you see an orange light means you should be aware that something is not right. However, you can continue to drive. The main ones I want you to know is a low fuel light means that you can go probably another 50 miles before you run out of gas. So if you ever see that light on, you can reset your trip computer by pushing this button. That'll take that to 0. In 50 miles, you'll probably run out. Another thing that you want to be aware of is this thing here with the genie bottle. That is a low oil pressure light. That either means that your oil level is extremely low or your oil pressure is lower than it should be. You ever see that light? Pull over, shut the car off. Don't drive another 5-10 miles. Pull over immediately, shut the car off. Check your oil level. If your oil level is good, you have a oil pressure problem. Have the car towed somewhere, have a mechanic check it out, get it fixed. There's a link in the comments that may talk more about that. However, you do not want to try to drive the car home with that light on. One of my sayings is, a tow is cheaper than an engine. You see that light? Shut it down. The light below it, which is a fan and a water jug with water lines under it. That is your coolant level low light. If you ever see that light on, that means that your car has lost coolant and your engine should be shut off immediately. I tell people, turn the engine off, then pull the car to the side of the road. A tow is cheaper than an engine. If you try to drive around with that light on, you will likely blow the engine, even if your coolant temperature doesn't rise. If your level is low, there's not enough fluid on the sensor to tell you that you're overheating. So, trust this more than this. And this is your temperature gauge when you're driving your car around. That should quickly come up to the 3 o'clock position and should stay there the whole time you drive your car. If you ever see that dipping down while you're driving on a highway or something, or going up closer to the red, get that checked out. You likely have a bad thermostat. Need to get that serviced so you don't blow your engine. Again, a tow is cheaper than an engine. These other lights are there for your explanation. There's a video linked in the comments below to explain all of these lights. But I did want to point out the most important ones: your low fuel, your low oil pressure, and your low coolant level. Here is your climate control system, your heating and air. My favorite position is auto. I normally have my temperature between 68 and 72. I normally have that on auto. This computer control climate control system will balance out and make this car most comfortable for you as you drive around. Here's your radio. If for some reason you power that on and it says off, that means that the security code was not entered properly. There's a video linked in the comments below to tell you how to deal with that. You have some other controls here. This is the dimmer for your dash. It dims the lights bright and dim. This is a fog light for the rear. It will only light up one light on the driver's side of the car. If it's foggy outside extremely heavy rain. If you're experiencing reduced visibility while you're driving, you turn your headlights on, you turn that on, you'll get a light up in your dash telling you that your rear fog light is on. You drive until the conditions clear up, then you turn that switch off, that light goes off, continue on your way. This next here is for your front fog lights. If you're driving in snowy conditions, foggy conditions, and you want some additional lighting out of the front of the car, turn your front fog lights on. This is a rare switch for your antenna on the sedans. This opens and closes your sunroof. This is traction control, reduce slipping in wet climate. This is an info switch. In the event you have a car equipped with this, this will change this setting in your instrument cluster, tell you how many miles you've driven since it was reset. I'm going to do it so you can see. This tells you how many miles you can go on the remaining gas in the car. This tells you the temperature outside. Usually, if the temperature outside is between 22 degrees and 38 degrees, the roads could have icing on them. You will get a red light in this little snowflake to let you know to beware that there's a possible icing condition on the roads. This light here is your defrost for your rear windows and your mirrors. These open and close your vents. And if your car is equipped with heated seats, down by the shifter, you'll have heated seats buttons there. Those are your main features of the interior of the car. Most of these cars have cruise control. If this is switched to the on position, which is further here, while you're driving over 25 miles an hour, you can push up or down on this switch and it will set the cruise control if that's working. When you need to disengage the cruise control, you touch the brake pedal or you flip that switch off. Your cruise control will go off and your car will drift to a stop. To get your high beams on, you pull this lever to you. You will see a blue light flash in there. When your headlights are on, you pull that to you. You got your blue light there. That's letting you know the brights are on outside the car. You don't want those on when you got oncoming traffic. You pull this to you again. That will cut the brights off. If your headlights are off, you pull that to you. It will only hold the brights on as long as you hold the lever back. When you let the lever go, they go back off. You can see it outside as well on the garage door. I got the button pulled. I let it go. That's your high beams. Over here, you have the control for your windshield wipers. If you go up one notch, that puts your windshield wipers on a intermittent wipe. They will wipe every 7 seconds. You push down one, it'll wipe constantly. You push it down twice, it'll wipe very fast. Now, if you have a station wagon, the controls on the end and here will control the wiper on the rear tailgate. That's all I wanted to cover with you today. Do check the video link below called New Volvo Owner. It will explain things that you should check immediately or have a mechanic check immediately to protect your investment, whether you paid $200 for the car or $5,000 for it. That normally is reflected on the previous maintenance. Now, the oil change intervals on these cars is basically every 5,000 miles. If your car has a turbo, you want to use full synthetic oil. If your car does not have a turbo, you can use full synthetic oil. Really doesn't matter. You could use normal oil, but you want to change the oil if you have a turbo every 5,000 miles. If you have a non-turbo, you can extend oil changes every 10,000 miles. There's a link in the comment that goes a little further into that. Again, can't stress the importance enough. Keep your oil level good. Keep your coolant level good. These cars, when maintained and repaired and serviced, can last 500,000 miles. If you have any questions, post your comment below. Thank you for watching and welcome to Volvo Ownership. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.